And we are live, our Thursday live edition for business and communications help. My name is JD Thomas. I am a business and communications advisor at Jade Strategic Relations, a business success firm looking to help people just grow within their industries, helping business grow, helping people achieve the goals that they want. And I work off my background as a communication and business advisor, working with many businesses and people. And today's focus is going to be on growing your business. And it doesn't sound necessarily like an actionable item. Your business grows by getting more people, but there are different ways of growing a business. And it often comes down to the pain points that you're willing to or that you're willing to work towards. Put it this way, we get into business often, we start a business, or those who start businesses, I'll put it this way, whether you're an entrepreneur, a business owner of a small business, franchising, we get in because we love something. We love the craft, whether it be manufacturing something, whether it's services or sales within some sort of form. Maybe you sell pet products, maybe you cut hair, whatever it might be. You are in it for the craft, and you say, I want to do this and I want to do it on my own, and you start a business on that. And it's a really, really fun and exciting time, and you're helping things grow and helping yourself grow. Now, problems tend to arise when you start getting some success and you start getting busy and you need to add more people. And even businesses that are already hired and have multiple people, there comes an inflection point where you're either too busy, you're so busy that you need to hire someone, and that creates extra fund, need for extra funds. What tends to happen though is you push that a little bit further because you don't quite have the amount of money that you need to hire somebody, and so you stretch your services and your productivity very thin. And the damage in that is that when your service starts to fail, your ability to help customers and meet demand starts to fail, you start to lose, your brand starts to hurt, you start to lose customers. And so while you have to work harder until you get to the point where you can afford somebody, the other side of it is you hire somebody that will help you grow, and you may end up paying money for them where you're not meeting demand, but the demand's not exactly there, but as the demand grows, you're able to fulfill. And they're two different pain points. And as a business owner, you're either running yourself ragged or you and your team ragged, trying to wait until you build up to the point where you can finally bring somebody else in, or you're going to find some way to get investment in order to bring somebody in that will allow you to grow. And perhaps these are loans, and there's a lot of grants and a lot of opportunities to get funding that will help you in that manner. And I highly recommend looking at the business, look in your business community. Usually there's chambers of commerce and BIAs that are out there that allow you they'll know how you can grow, and you can talk to somebody, talk to your bank. Maybe you can get a bit of a loan on that. There's lots of avenues in which you can get money that will help you grow as a business. And there's this, and just that's an amazing opportunity. You will find a lot of people willing to back you, and that is the point. And you have to come with all the details, and here's where we're at, and here's where we need to grow. Then it comes down to, how are you growing? And whether it's an employee, it could be someone you hire. Maybe it's outsourcing. So just outsourcing, as we do all the time. We don't think about it, having an accountant as outsourcing, but it is outsourcing part of the tasks that we typically do. And the other part is partnership. And you bring in a partner to your business. I'm going to start off with outsourcing, and it's the easiest thing in a lot of ways to do because you've got tasks. Maybe it's your social media, and social media is the biggest part of people's worry when they have a business and they're trying to grow. And so the idea of bringing in someone to help outsource some part of what you're doing. That could be social media. It could be administrative work. It could be just routine aspects. And there's virtual assistants are really big now. You're hiring out people typically from areas around the world where they have the skills and work at a cheaper rate than when than where you might be. And it helps make it affordable for you, and it builds up skills and credibility for others. So it's a really great way of doing it. Because social media is the biggest part of people's outsourcing nowadays, outside of the core, legal, insurance, and finances, social media tends to be the low-hanging fruit. There's lots of people out there that will do social media posting. Some of them call themselves PR companies. They're not PR companies. If all you do is social media posting, you're not a PR company. You work with PR companies, and there's an aspect of that, but that's my own personal beef. We'll get into that later. That'll be another episode. But if you're going to look to a social media company, to someone that manage the posting, there's things you still have to remember, in that the content still has to come from somewhere. And while the company you hire, or the people you hire to do this outsourcing and do their posting, you need to make sure that they are aware of who you are. What is your brand? Who are they representing? And do they know your industry well enough? I have seen before where someone I know has a coffee roasting business, and they had someone doing their social media, and they posted something errantly. It wasn't terribly wrong. It was just something that wasn't factual. And because they'd grown a big following and relied on this person who knows what they're talking about, it created a bit of a problem. Nothing drastic that needed to be, call in and the PR teams and do that, but they did have to make an adjustment, and it was embarrassing, and it sets you back a little bit. You work so hard on developing this yourself as an authority in your field, and then a single post can set you back. So you want to make sure someone knows the field, or at least has some sort of checks and balances to make sure what's getting posted is factual and on brand and the way you want it to be seen and heard. And that's the kind of thing. You just need to make sure that the people you bring in understand your business, and understand the environment you're trying to work in. They know the strategy. Where are you trying to grow, and where you're trying to be a leader? And so that's very important. And look hard for something. Interview a lot of different people for it, not just because you know them or you think they're good. They're representing you, and you don't want to lose that. And maybe it's outsourcing some of the work you do internally, and you have virtual assistants or physical assistants, and you hire somebody on a needs basis, on a skills set basis, and that's where you think about it. What skills do I need to bring to send this bit of work out to? Then comes employing somebody, hiring somebody into your business, and maybe you've already hired, and maybe you've been through the process. As of 2023, there's a big problem because we had the baby boomers who left the employment workforce because of COVID. There is this great opportunity for now the younger, you got younger millennials and Gen Z or Z, however you want, wherever you are, and they're starting to fill the gaps. They were left out of the employment market previous to COVID because the baby boomers were still trying to maintain their income while they build up towards retirement. And now that that's happened, now that there's more spaces available, we're seeing a lot of problems with employment. And you can listen to Simon Sinek, who talks about why there's a bigger problem with younger millennials and Gen Z in terms of how they are conflict avoidant. They haven't learned the skills that are required to negotiate and navigate the world because of just the way they were brought up. And of course, everybody has problems, whatever your generation. We're all having trouble getting a little bit back after the pandemic. So what's happening is to avoid conflict, a lot of people are just leaving jobs rather than saying, hey, I'm not really happy here. What can we do to work better? And, maybe I want more money. And rather than, asking for the raise or even hearing, okay, I see you want to get a raise. You've only been working a short time, but let's see how we can get you there. Many times people will think that is saying no. And what they end up doing is they leave. And it's not just saying, okay, I'm giving my 2 weeks resignation. They tend to quit. They just ghost. And it's a big thing, ghosting the employers. And while it's seems to be, hey, it doesn't matter, I can do this, it's not going to affect me, there's going to be a job out there. To those people, I would say, look out, because there's going to be those jobs that you do want. You're going to want a job. There's going to be one that, okay, oh, this is the one I really, really want. And when you're sitting in front of the potential employer and they're looking at how many jobs you've had recently and how you've left, they may not want to hire you. And so you be aware of yourself as a commodity, as your name being out there, as who you are, and handle yourself. If you need some help, get some help, and learn how to work with these not conflict, I won't call it conflict, there's negotiations, even understanding how to negotiate just work life. And so for employers on the other side, because you're looking to employ and it's tough, you get a carousel of people going around, it's often because employers aren't asking the right questions and they're not looking to the right standards to figure out how the people are going to be the best for your business. And what I profess is going for attitude, aptitude, education, and skills. And it's a combination but you need attitude and aptitude almost more than the rest of it. You can, as a business owner, you may be able to teach somebody skills. You may be able to provide them education, but if they don't have the right attitude and the right aptitude, how much do they want to be there? How much do they want to work and be in a workforce in this area and for your business? Is this just something because it's close? Is it something because they want to grow in this field? Do they see an opportunity for themselves? And these are the questions you need to find out, because that's going to help you understand whether or not they're going to be effective as an employee. And you ask them the tough questions. You ask, tell me how many businesses have you worked for? What have you done? And how did you leave? Tell me about some conflicts that might have happened. How did you handle slow time or downtime? These types of things are very important to ask and often get overlooked because we're looking so much for the skill set. Do they have the skills? What did they do? And that is important. So make sure you do ask those questions, but make sure they're a good fit for your business. Find out how much they know about your business. Ask them. You should have a checklist. And if you're interested, you contact Jade Strategic Relations. We have a checklist for employers to go through during the hiring phase. And you look at and you interview as many people as you can because you want to find that right fit and ensure that that person is good for you. But also make sure that you have an onboarding process. You should, when you're hiring somebody, it should be simplified to get them through and get them working as quickly as possible. Often smaller businesses don't have any processes set in place. And so it's, oh yeah, I got to add you to this. And oh, by the way, well, we don't have a key, but we'll figure this out. Things that prevent the person from getting going and feeling like they're winning off the bat is going to make a lot more friction. Another thing you may want to ask during the interview process is, what type of manager do you like? What type of employer do you want to work for? What do you find value in? A lot of people really get a lot of value out of being recognized for what their accomplishments are. And so it's the simplest thing to just, as an employer, say, you did a great job with that, way to go. Or even if there's something didn't go right, say, okay, we're going to work on this. You did well through this part of it. This part we can use improvement. I'm going to help you with that. And that type of reward and showing that you're there with them, it may be a little extra work, but it's as soon as they're up to speed, and if the quicker you can do that, the better it will be. So have an onboarding process, have an exit process too. So this way the check boxes for everything that they do when they get started. Maybe you're giving them keys, maybe their passwords, access to things. You need to make sure that those things are also taken away really quickly in case that they're not working out. So you need an effective onboarding process and make sure that you understand who it is that you're bringing in. As I said, it helps that you give them wins. It helps them feel more connected to you, and it prevents the churn that's happening. You could get somebody, millennials and Gen Zs are very loyal people. When they want to feel connected to things, they want to feel involved. Have them as a part of your onboarding and put them on your website and your social media. Welcome aboard, and get them to see that they are a part of the family. Don't wait. Okay, well, I'll wait to see how they do. You can reasonably have a probation period in which case we're going to see how this works. And if you last, if things work out and you're here beyond this point, maybe we'll give you a little bit more money. Maybe we're going to, increase your visibility in the company. There's a lot of ways you can bring in employees and making sure that it's helpful for you and your company. And that's very important because that's the whole point of growing. Small companies, I find when they, if it's a mom and pop shop or, two owners or one owner, and they're just looking to bringing people in, write down the skill sets, write down those things that you need the person to do. What are they doing on a daily basis? That's very important because and some of it may be taking things off of your list. I find it very valuable for business owners to write down the list of all the things that they do. And I can hear people rolling their eyes, go, oh, there's not enough paper, or, not enough memory on my computer to write that, or, oh, where do I start? And where do I even have time for that? But when you list all the things that you're responsible for doing, and it's maybe keep that list around with you and you go, oh yeah, there's something I got to do. I didn't think about it. But then it gives you the list of the tasks that you can outsource, either outsourcing outside your company or outsourcing to an employee that you're going to have take up some of the roles that you're going to do. That's very important to know what they're expected to do and have it laid out ahead of time so that they can be evaluated on that. And it also helps when looking at the final part, partnership. Now, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs don't always think about bringing in partners. And when they do thinking about bringing about partners, they're usually thinking about bringing in somebody else that knows the industry, someone else in the field and has the skill sets. And the problem with that is then the things they're not doing with the business of running the business, that tends to go because the other person then doesn't want to do those things either. And there may be some commonalities that they don't want to do. Maybe it's the technology, maybe it's the accounting and the bookkeeping. Those types of things are very important to make sure that you bring somebody in that fills those gaps in what you're missing. And maybe you're bringing somebody in from the industry because they've got a different presence. Maybe they've got skill sets that you're trying to bring into your business, and that's definitely a reason for doing it. But you got to look at what is your business lacking. Where are the weak points that you need to build up to make your business strong enough to grow? And there's different types of partnerships. There's general partnership, there's limited partnership, and there's limited liability partnership. Some places there's limited partnership, limited liability partnership. It's LLLP. Look at what type of partnerships there are. Maybe they're a silent partner. Maybe they have some investments that they just want to bring in. I recommend, there's a lot of people going through business school and they're learning about business and partnering with somebody. Maybe they have some capital to bring in and they can help take up the slack, the differences that you're missing in your business. And you write that out and you have it established that you're going to have to, because it's in a contract. Here's what I'm responsible for. Here's what you're responsible for. Here's how we're going to go forward, and have an exit clause. When somebody's not happy with the partnership, how do we break it off? That's got to be established. And just like when you're outsourcing, how do you get your information back? I worked in IT in data storage, and outsourcing was very popular. And we'll save millions a year by sending out our data, and we're going to have someone like IBM take over our data center. But what happens is when they no longer want to have somebody else running their data center, how do you get that back? What are the methodologies? What's the mechanisms? What legally you have to do? How much do you have to pay? Because while it may be cheaper in the short run, it becomes exorbitantly expensive to try to bring that data back, and all the information you're outsourcing to a virtual assistant. How do you get control back of those things and lock them out? Or as an employee, how do you say, okay, our time is done here, or they're moving on? You need that process, the exit plan, so that way when you go out there and you break things off and things are no longer working efficiently, it can be done appropriately. Or maybe it's only for a period of time anyways. Maybe it's seasonal employment. Maybe it's outsourcing until you want to bring somebody in the company. Your plan in how to do that is very important. And I subscribe to, it's not strategy. Your strategy, if you know Roger Martin, he talks about strategy as being all the areas where you can't control. These are areas you can control, and you need to understand how you control them and how you're going to use these to your benefit. So as a business owner, and thank you, Tracy, for your comments, I appreciate that. And you do need to think about how you're going to grow. Which inflection points are you going to be okay with going through? Is it the running the risk of hurting your business through struggling until you can afford it? And some, maybe that's your only choice. But understand where you can afford. Well, maybe instead of outsourcing and bringing an employee, an outsourcing is cheaper, allows you to not have to pay on benefits and other aspects of that. But how do you grow? How do you get to that point? Maybe it is finding the grants that'll help you employ somebody. There's a lot of different opportunities out there. Make sure whatever you do, when you're growing your business through bringing somebody else in to help you, make sure that it's a good fit. Make sure that it fits both of your interests, and make sure that you have abilities to make everybody win as quickly as possible and have an exit strategy when you don't. I hope you found this helpful, and if you have any questions, you can reach out to me at jdthomas@jadestrategicrelations.com. That's a big mouthful, but you can find me on the website at jadestrategicrelations.com. Follow this channel if you like this content. I'm producing live every week, plus additional content. So please subscribe to this channel, especially on YouTube. I need to get to 100 subscribers. I can change my URL. That'll be great. But yeah, please click the notification button if you want to be notified when new videos are being recorded. And please give the thumbs up if you like this. Looking forward to helping you and help with either tips and more videos. Look through my different social media streams and provide whatever I can for you. And looking forward to seeing you out there. Have a great day.